Hey everyone, Teacher Chang here, and today we're going to go ahead and review how to solve quadratic equations by graphing. And we're going to be looking at our graphing calculator to help us do this. But when we take a look at our equation, we got to make sure that our equation is in that standard form. So let's take a look at the problem that we have here. Now this problem is very similar to a problem that you may have seen before in the past. This may have been in some of my other videos as well. But this time we're going to go ahead and solve it by graphing. So when we do this, we got to make sure that it's in that standard form, and that standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c, and typically we have that equal to 0. So that's what we want to do here. Now when we go ahead and do this, we want to go ahead and make sure that our a value is a positive value. Now when we solve, we're going to go ahead and try to get that negative 5x and that 3 to the other side. So it's on the wrong side here. So we're going to go ahead and start off by adding 5x on both sides. And then we could go ahead at the same time get rid of that 3 by subtracting 3 on both sides. Now what's going to happen here is that the 5x and the 3's on the right will cancel each other out. And now we have 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now when we go ahead and type it into our graphing calculator, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rewrite it so that it says y is equal to 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and use this equation to type into my graphing calculator, and we're going to use that to help us figure out, well, what is our x values. Now keep in mind, when we're solving for our x values, we're going to be looking for our zeros. Now zeros is another term for our solution, and it's also another term for our x-intercepts. So when we're looking at the graph, we're looking for the x-intercepts, also known as zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and shift over to my graphing calculator. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed my calculator over here, and we're just going to go ahead and enter in our equation into this calculator. Now, I tried to find a calculator that you could download from online with your apps. However, I couldn't really find one that mimicked the TI-84 exactly if it was a free application. So let's go ahead and just use the calculator that we have here. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the y equals, and this is where we're going to enter in our equation. So I'm going to click on y equals, and I'm going to type in the equation that we came up with, and that was 2x squared. So I'm going to click on 2. The x button is right next to the alpha key, squared, which is above the log key, and then we have plus 5x, and then we have our minus 3. All right, so there's our equation. Now, if I go ahead and click on graph, we should be able to see what our parabola looks like, and this is what our parabola looks like. Now, our solutions are going to be the points where it crosses the x-axis. So those are our x-intercepts, and sometimes we may call them our zeros, like what we said earlier on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use our graphing calculator to calculate those zeros. Sometimes it's nice and easy to see, and other times it's not as nice. So we're going to go ahead and use the calc function, which is above the trace button. So I'm going to go ahead and hit second trace to get to calc, and we're going to calculate our zeros. So our 0 is the second option, so I'm going to go down 1, I'm going to hit enter, and now I'm going to go ahead and find the x-intercept, or the 0, of one of these two. So I'm going to choose the one on the left first. I like doing the one on the left, and notice it's asking for a left bound. So that means here is approximately where our x-intercept is, so I'm going to go somewhere to the left of it. I'm going to hit enter, and you might see an arrow or a vertical line, and that's going to show you the boundary line of where our x-intercept might be. So this is the left side of our x-intercept. Now it's going to ask for a right bound, and what we want to do with the right bound is choose somewhere to the right of our x-intercept. Now that means our x-intercept is somewhere in between these two boundary lines. Now it says to guess. You don't really have to guess. You hit enter one more time, and now you have your first 0. So our first 0 is located at negative 3. Now we're going to go ahead and find our second one. So to find our second one, that's the one on the right, we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did earlier. So we're going to start off by hitting second trace to get our calc. We're going to do another 0, except this time we're going to do the one on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and estimate where that one on the right is. And again, it's asking for a left bound. So I'm going to choose somewhere to the left, hit enter. And now I'm going to go ahead and choose somewhere to the right of it. That's our right bound. Hit enter. and then it says to guess. So I hit enter one more time, and then we could see that our second zero is at 0.5 or 1/2. So if you saw our other videos with this same equation, we got the same exact answers where x is equal to -3 and 1/2. So that's how you use your graphing calculator to solve quadratic equations. You're looking for those zeros, also known as our x-intercepts. And if you located those are your solutions. All right, I hope this helped out. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. All right, good luck, enjoy, and have fun.